Hey guys, watch this video if you would like to know where India's real estate market is headed, taking Gurgaon as an example. Well, I am India's top family business mentor, and I received a lot of appreciation from you guys in the earlier video that I shared and I spoke about New York versus Gurgaon. There was this post that went viral, and I shared my 2 cents about it, where we're talking about an apartment in Gurgaon versus an apartment in New York City. And yeah, do check out that video if you're interested, and if you haven't seen it. That also made me made me not watch, create this video today, where we will be looking at the trends and where the real estate market exactly is headed. So let's get right on to it. In 2012, there was this report that McKinsey shared, and on the basis of that report, they looked at, okay, what is the growth rate of the country, how the population is growing, how we have the largest amount of youth in our workforce, and given all these factors, what will the infrastructure will be required, what is the kind of amenities that will be required in the future. And in that report, something very interesting they shared was that they will need to build, or India will need to build, a city like Chicago every year. This was in 2012. Today we are sitting at the end of 2024, and I don't see any more Chicago's, not even a single one, since the report was shared. So why would they say that? Why was that happening? So if we look at today the population of Gurgaon is 2.5 million. 25 lakh population है आज की डेट में गुड़गांव की, and it is only going to increase. People are coming from all top cities, all tier 2 cities. The top cities are investing here. The tier 2 cities want to come to Gurgaon and work here, because I think more than 300 of the top 500 Fortune 500 companies are located here in Gurgaon. So the population is just going to increase. What are we doing about it? Well, the infrastructure wise, I would say there's not much. And I will also refer to this particular interview that I saw of Mr. Singh with Vandana Ramnani, in which he shares how the focus is on the next 20 years. If we would like to compete with China, I won't say we are in no position. Okay, to begin with, we are in no position to compete with China. Now, those who have visited China, those who have been to China, who have traveled to China, who have experienced China firsthand, will agree with my statement here. We are in no competition with China at all. They are way ahead of us. I mean, come on, look at it this way. For all this while, China was the most populated country in the world. And if we look at the area, जो China का total land area है, that is 3 times of that we have in India. Today, India is the largest, most populated country in the world. And if there's something that we need to learn, we don't need to compete with China, we need to learn from China, how they manage their population. And they were managing their population when they were the most populated country in the world, with more than 96 lakh square kilometers of area, of land area. Now, what is the land area of India here? It's less than 35 lakh square kilometers. It's 32 to 33 lakh square kilometers. From Kashmir to Kanyakumari, north, south, east, west, if we look at the total area. And given that we are 1/3 land area of China and more populated than China, it needs to be definitely considered. We learn from the best countries in the world who are doing great. Japan, for that matter, is doing great in managing their population, how they are managing their population. And this is a shout out to the authorities here, to plan ahead. Now, if we are planning 20 years ahead, that won't work here. We need to start planning 100 years ahead. We need to have a long-term vision for the cities, for the infrastructure, for the water, electricity, roadways, everything that makes a city. Unfortunately, also in that interview, Mr. Singh with the Vandana Ramnani, also he mentioned how, given the population is going really, off the limit, Sorry to use those words, and I hope, I mean, I know I will be trolled for saying that, but we are looking at it as facts. A lot of people, majority of the population, will be living in subhuman conditions. We are already experiencing that in the top cities of the country. So my invitation here to the bureaucrats, if any of you are watching this, my invitation, my suggestion as someone who has traveled for business in these developed countries, these top nations, is please go visit these countries and learn there. Visit the autobahns in Germany, drive a car there in Germany, drive the car for a month, stay there, stay in China for a month, do that every year, learn from there and see what we can, come here and execute and implement. I mean, we've been hearing about Dwarka Expressway since more than a decade now. It's now come into fruition, and it is again a 20-year vision. It is, we have to start learning and looking at it in a myopic kind of a planning. Land, thousands of, what does it take to build a city? It takes a lot of land, thousands of acres of land. It takes the confidence of people. Take certain cities, that were planned, Lavasa for that matter, or the city outside Bombay that was, being promoted by Sahara. It takes a lot of confidence of the people to build a city, to bring in people there, to bring in companies there, to bring in jobs there. And that is what it will take for the future. It takes a great amount of planning, it takes a great amount of execution, it takes a great amount of rigidity to get through those plans. What happened with Delhi Metro? How was Delhi Metro started and executed back in the day? It took a lot of rigidity. It took a lot of rigidity to, dig the entire city out and do whatever it takes to build those metro lines, to build those pillars in the middle of a big city. And again, we were 100 years late, and we still are 100 years late. Another example that I would like to share with you, when I was in China last, I was in Shanghai and I landed in Shanghai. And those of you who have visited China can totally relate to this. And those of you who haven't visited China, you gotta listen to this experience that I had. So I was visiting one of my suppliers in China, which was, I think, 200 kilometers from Shanghai. And my colleague there, he came to pick me up from the airport. I landed, and there he was in his nice minivan. Sat in the back of the car. We started driving towards the supplier's factory. And while I was on the way there, we were driving on this nice expressway, take the Delhi Bombay Expressway, for example. And we are driving there, and then I see on the expressway, there's on the parallelly, you can see what's going around. There was a metro line, and this was an elevated expressway, okay? Below that, there was a regular road. I think we were probably crossing some towns and cities while we were driving at a good amount of speed, 150 kilometers per hour. And while we are doing that, I'm also looking at this bullet train that is going at a very high speed. So there's bullet train, there's metro, there's an elevated highway, and there's a road below me while we are driving across. And while we are driving, I'm looking at these, for this particular stretch. एक stretch आया वहाँ पे, उस stretch पे सिर्फ pillars बने हुए हैं, और एक pillar खत्म होता है, फिर couple of meters आगे जाके there's one more pillar. So I asked this gentleman, his name's Ricky. So I asked, hey, Ricky, it's such a lovely infrastructure that you've built up here. The roads are great, the metro is great, the bullet trains I'm looking at, it's beautiful, and I'm fascinated by this infrastructure, the transportation. But what is up with these pillars, that show up every couple of meters, a couple of 100 meters? To which Ricky pointed out that, Angad, when these expressways and these highways will get crowded, that's when we just need to join these two pillars and build another level of, a couple of lanes of highway more. And that's how future ready they are. Versus, we all know the condition in our country. So this is again a shout out to the leaders here. We need a long-term vision thinking. And I mean, yes, India is doing a great job. And given that India is doing a great job, given that India is out there on the world map now, given that after Trump winning the election in the United States, a lot of manufacturing will be coming to India. So we need to start getting prepared for the next 100 years, because this is India's time. This is where our economy is going to be booming. And what would it take to be ready to grab the maximum, grab the lion's share of this? So, yeah, these were my 2 cents, and I hope this was of value to you. And thank you for watching, guys.